Alright guys, I'm here now on YouTube. I'm going to share my analysis with you. But first of all, I really want to emphasize, if you haven't subscribed to this website, right, Crypto Unplugged, I don't know what you're doing. Because firstly, no one gives free stuff around here. And there's so many gems on this section here, right? I'm not signed in, so you won't be able to see it if I just click on it, right? It's a live crypto gems database. And it's got so many gems on here that have done like a 5, 10, 15x, and it's completely free. And what baffles me, we've got a lot of subscribers, don't get me wrong, but what baffles me is that this is free information and it's there. If you were subscribed from last year to this year, you could have easily made a 10x, 15x on many coins. And I know there's a lot of people on Twitter claiming to bag 100x and 200x and 2 millionx, and most of them are talking out their backside. But this is something that every person can go on and just look at the coins and not financial advice by the way, but go on and look at them. Because I tell you one thing about I don't want to rant on this, but I tell you one thing about most influencers that I've seen anyway. They will give you a coin at the initial market cap, right? And the initial market cap will be on an IDO. It'll be on one of these maybe one of these big IDOs that you need 20 grand to get in a ticket for like $100, and that initial market cap does a 10x 20x on release. You're not getting it at that price unless you're in the private sale. And again, if you got contacts, you're in the private sale. But with the timing of this cycle, I wouldn't even get into private sales because your token's going to be locked up for God knows how long, especially now. So what I'm trying to say is this site, and we put on gems on this on purpose and different times. We're putting gems on when it's absolute the best time to buy the coins, or generally a good time to buy the coins when the alt market comes down. You won't see many coins going on this maybe in the next month or 2 months, because then for me anyway, I think it's a bit too late. So you still got time, but time is running out, especially with the alt market going parabolic. Well, we'll go parabolic soon anyway. So listen, this is free information, and all those gems will be taken down when the cycle's finished. It'll be done, and then we'll make a new one. But have a look at it. And the only thing it's not free in terms of why I haven't just put it there, because I want you guys to make some effort and actually subscribe. That's all you need to do. There's nothing else. We don't spam you. We're not going to give you thousands of emails or things like that. Subscribe, have a go, look at the gems. And I know from personal experience that people have made some decent money from it. So it's at the end of the day, it's up to you. And but I would tell you to take a look at it. Okay, so let's go to the charts, and this is something I want to show you, especially from my type of analysis and the way I look at cycles. And this is something I'm going to go through. I'm trying to go through it slowly. If it's confusing or if you don't understand it, let me know on Twitter, give me a message. I'll try to simplify it in the next video for you, but let's look at it step by step. All right, so we're just going to have a blank chart. Forget these indicators and all this signals and this and that crap. So we're going to look at the cycle lows. All right, so the red lines are the cycle lows. 2015 cycle low, 2018 cycle low, and the last one in 2022, and the one we're projecting out in 2026. The white lines are roughly the midpoints of each cycle, and what you have is, to the left of the white line is a left translated cycle, to the right of the white line is a right translated cycle. Now in Bitcoin, you haven't really had a left translated cycle. It's been all right translated, here in 2017 and 2022. Okay, all right translated, and everybody right now, or 90% of people, are again forecasting a right translated cycle here in 2025. I get that logic 100%. I understand that cycle logic. I understand that, but that is very, very basic analysis, and anybody who actually analyzes charts like that, I wouldn't even bother following, because they haven't really, I don't think they really have thought about different aspects of the cycle. So when you actually look at the cycle, we know that the red lines are the bottoms, and they normally come every four years or so, and that's how I measure them. I measure 4 years, 4 years, and 4 years, and so forth. And then I put the white lines in for the midpoint. Okay, standard stuff. But now why am I saying that this cycle here will be a left translated cycle? What's actually different to the other past two cycles? Just on cycle analysis, forget Elliott wave, forget any other things like that. I know there's Elliott wave that supports that this is the fifth wave. Credible Crypto actually his analysis is probably really good, that I respect, but that's from an Elliott wave point of view. But I'm going to tell you from a 4-year cycle point of view. And now I'm hearing another crazy idea that the 4-year cycles are broken. They're not broken, nothing's broken. All it is the right hand, or the right translated cycle may be broken, and I'll tell you why. So what I normally do for each cycle, okay, I put these fib resistance fans on, right, with the Gann timing of the 0.75, and when you break the 0.75, that means that you've broken the downtrend resistance, and it's basically to the moon from there. We're going all-time highs, and nothing's changed in this cycle anyway, and I'll show you what I mean. So when I put them on, right, I'll put all of them on, the last three, from high to low, and it gives you the downtrend line, the 0.75. And Gann is especially his thing was about timing, so that's why time and price, so that's why I really like it. Again, I've put it into the last cycle and the current cycle here. So if you look at it, the downtrend line has happened, and it breaks it, pretty much a few months before the midpoint in both of the right translated cycles, right? I broke it here around August, September, you could say September 2020. Here it broke it October 2016, midpoint was Jan 2017. Here midpoint was December, and it broke it here in you could say August, right? So maybe 3 or 4 months before the midpoint. Now if you look here in our current cycle, and this is just one of the, you can say it broke it, or let's say it broke it in February, right? But the midpoint is in November, so it's actually number one, it's actually it's probably the 3 months ahead or 4 months ahead of where it was here. Not only that, I want to put the halvings on as well, because that also gives me a better understanding of what's happening. So if we look at the cycle in 2015 to 2017, right, you had the halving coming first, the break of the Gann, and then all-time highs. Remember that sequence. The halving coming first, you're still below the Gann, the breakout, then you break out, then you make all-time highs. Okay, same in the 2018 cycle. Halving comes, you're still below the breakout, you break out above the Gann, and then you break all-time highs coming into the midpoint. Remember, the all-time highs get broken after the halving, after the Gann break at the midpoint, or nearly at the midpoint. So the all-time high here was about, what was Bitcoin's all-time high? About 1200, and that got broken after the midpoint in phase 4, I would say, in the last phase of the cycle. But now let's go into the current cycle, right? So we go into the current cycle, and let's just zoom in a bit and see what's happening. We haven't had the halving yet, okay? Obviously, we haven't had the halving. We've broken the Gann before the halving, and we've had an all-time high before the halving. Something's different, okay? You can only have 2 options in a cycle, right or left. Okay, so we're not following the right. It's a good chance, obviously I don't know the future, but there's a good chance we're following a left translated cycle, which is parabolic, sharp, aggressive, and that's what we're having. And that's symptoms of a left translated cycle, is that we are very aggressive, and that's what's happening at the moment. And then after that, so I think, me personally, what I'm advocating here is a top before November 2024, okay? And I do have June as a target, initial target, as you know, of June. Obviously we'll come to that as we get closer to June. And then a 2-year bear market that will obviously go down, could go down to around 30,000, 35,000, or we'll come to targets in another video when we're in the bear market, and that will be a 2-year bear market going into 2026. So that's what I have in terms of just analyzing from a quite a quick point of view here. I'm just trying to do it as quickly as possible. So I'm very much of the opinion that we are going to top early compared to other cycles in the 3rd year, and I'll show you my other chart just so let me just delete all this stuff and we can see my cycle analysis, and I'll try to explain that to you as well. So we have the 2022 cycle. This is something that hopefully will make sense. So we have this cycle. I'm explaining this cycle here. So, and this is more in detail. So this cycle is split into 4: 1st year bear, 2nd consolidation, 3rd year expansion, and the 4th year top if it was a right translated cycle. And we've had the 1st year bear, nothing out of the ordinary. 2nd year consolidation was nothing out of the ordinary, but I always said the 3rd year is the most important year, and if something changes, it's going to change in this 3rd year. And what we have had is we've broken out. It shouldn't, if this was a right translated cycle, it wouldn't have broken 61,500. This monthly resistance, the monthly close here. So you can see this is the monthly close, and I'm going to take you back to the other cycles so you can actually see what happened. So the monthly resistance at 61.5, we should have hit that resistance, come down, messed around in here, and then halving, and then taken off into this 4th year if it was a right translated cycle. Now let's go back to 2018 and you'll see what I mean, because you might think 2018 it rocketed to 14,000, and why wasn't that a left translated cycle? I tell you why it wasn't, because if you look at the 2nd year consolidation phase, we didn't break the monthly. We stayed right on the monthly, which was roughly $14,000, and then we came into the 3rd year expansion. We had the COVID crash, 3rd year expansion, broke it in the 4th year. Let's look at the cycle before. If I'm going too fast, I understand, it could be a bit much, but just want to make a point. 1st year bear, consolidation, break it in the 4th year. Break the top, the orange line, the monthly. But what we've done in this cycle, is that we've already broken it, towards the beginning of the 3rd year, not even towards the end, towards the beginning, which is a problem for people who are looking for a 2025 top. And this is why I say be careful out there. It's no guarantee that you're going to get a top in 2025. In my opinion, 2024 is much more likely to come. So think about it that way. Okay, let's just look at the current price of Bitcoin. I just want to see what's happening on in the charts. So I think it's a new day already. It must be quite late here. But what we have here, and we have price. Obviously, it made a new all-time high. Let's go into the weekly. Made an all-time high, and right now we're kind of battling, I think, to make a substantial. I think we're basically in wave 3 of in Elliott wave terms. We're in wave 3, and probably make a high till about 70. I would say 75,000, maybe more. Let's see what the main resistances are anyway. So let's get the fib. I like doing this quickly, getting the fib zones, especially in log mode, log fibs on the log chart. And the next main resistance comes in, like this is a big resistance, comes in at around 84,000. So that would be, a target for me. I don't think Bitcoin, to be honest, is going to go below the green line, which is the .886. It's just not going to happen. It's never happened before in history. I think the next move will be up, and you'll see, these are major targets. So 84 is a major target. I think there's one in between that. Yeah. So 100,000 is a major target, and if we're lucky, 120,000. So the top will come in these ranges, in my opinion. But as it gets closer, I'll have a better understanding of where price is going. We have to let this wave 3 finish, and then we can get accurate targets for wave 4. Wave 5. But yeah, I do think 84,000 will be a next major zone. So that's a zone to look out for. So another thing I want to show you is why I thought that Bitcoin would reverse around here, and I don't think we'll go below. So it's big to say now, but I think that zone of 60,000 is a very strong support. And why do I say that? Is because you simply get a fixed range profile. Okay, last major point, which was 38,500, was the last major point that was down. Let's get it to the high. I'm not going to include these because obviously this happened just a few days ago. Which happened, this high happened yesterday. So when I was analyzing it, I didn't have that data. So let's go to the top. And this is why I came in at saying 61,000 was a reversal point. Because what does this mean? I might just be doing stuff here, doing crap here, and you might thinking, what's this man on about? He's talking nonsense. But what it is that this whole area, this shows where volume was transacted. Okay, so the point of control, which is the orange line, is most of the volume in this whole range was transacted here. Okay, in this area, and as we can see, price was struggling on that 52,000 when it was happening. So now what's happened is price has, obviously that was a low, that was where most of the volume was transacting. If it would have rejected, it could have come all the way back down, and then we could have gone all the way back up. But what you normally find is this is the highest point of the where volume was transacted, and we actually got above that, and we retested it, and we haven't broken above it, meaning price is now accepted at this point. So as long as this area is not broken, the 62,000, price is going to go higher, and this is where I think we're going to go on to possibly 74,000 first, and then ultimately onto $84,000. I don't see Bitcoin crashing hard. This is a key level though. You must watch this level. Obviously anything can happen in the markets, but you have to understand key levels. So for me, 61,000 or 60,000, this area is a key level. And then going up, obviously we have targets. We have that big resistance zone at 84,000. And then we have a slight zone here at 73, I think it's about 72, 73,000 as well. So these are the levels to watch in the next in the coming weeks. Okay, so we looked at Bitcoin, and now let's look at the altcoin market cap. This is what I love. I love the altcoin market cap, and this is something that's really important to note. So let's go into total 3, because total 3 is basically your bread and butter. If you don't know what you're doing, and if you don't look at total 3, I remember this guy said to me, you can't analyze total 3, you can't analyze total 2. Well, yes I can, because I've made money analyzing it, and that's the simple bottom line. So I don't know what half these people talk about anyway. So anyway, let's look at total 3, and again we've pulled some fibs, top to bottom. We've got the 7.5 breakout, and we're at resistance right now. So I wouldn't be jumping into altcoins right now, to be honest, because it's we're at resistance. We could break it. I'm not, it could fly straight through it. I'm not saying we won't, but we're at resistance. So be careful at these points. Pull back into the golden zone. Let's go in here so we can see. We're at resistance, which are 720 billion. If we pull back into the golden area, 663 is a good support. That would be a good place to buy also if we reject. And this is what I meant. So when Bitcoin dumped to 60,000 the other day, all we did was retest the 0.5 fib, and that was a perfect time to buy altcoins. I don't know why people were panicking. If they were panicking, that was a time to buy alts, right? And right now I wouldn't, even though alts could. You've seen some big moves because we're at resistance. We're at resistance horizontally, and with the diagonal trend line as well. But I believe once we hit 833 billion, once we're over that, you forget about it. It's gone. We're gone. We're gonna be start printing crazy amount of gains. And again, the targets, big targets anyway. Let me see if I got all of them on. 172 as well. Yep. Okay, so big targets for me initially 1.35 trillion or 1.3 trillion, 1.6 trillion, and then we got 1.9 trillion for the old market cap. So these three are very important. Again, we'll see if we get to two. I don't think we get 2.5, but you never know. But let's see. So these are, I think 1.9 would be around here would be a decent shout. Now just look at the pattern here again, right? Look at the pattern of total 3 and how it's at resistance. And now I want you to look at the last cycle as well, just so you know what's happening. And let me see if I got let me put one of them fib things on, resistance fans as well. Where was the bottom? Technically I know that was, so let's put it here. You see this, right? You see when we get past it, this is what I'm trying to say. This is why I think we're the end cycle of the bull market. Once we get past these downtrend resistance, is the last 4 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, April, May, June, July. Okay, could be 3-4 months again. This is the point. Once we pass it, and this is where we are. So what I'm trying to say is we might get hit it, we might get resistance, might get a pullback. You might not. Depends how quick things go. But right now, it's probably easier just to hold off a bit until there is a pullback, a substantial pullback, so you can actually, go into the alts with a bit more confidence. So what you can normally have is, look, you break it and you come and retest it. You retest the golden area fib and you retested the GAN 7.5 and you're on your way. Right now we're not really on that. We're close. We could break it, retest, and then we're on our way. So for me at the moment with alts, I know they're in green, and they, you can see on my screen they're looking green, they're looking nice, they're looking primed to go. But maybe wait for a pullback would be probably a better strategy, I think. Alright, so let's last one. Let's look at a few. I'm just going to look at a few altcoins, to be honest. Not too many. Maybe in future videos I'll look at more of your requests. But obviously I'm going to look at my favorite coin because I'm doing the video. But I'm going to look at TRAC, right? Because TRAC is something that we absolutely love on Crypto Unplugged. Me and Doc heavily invested. Not financial advice, but we got into TRAC. Personally, I got into TRAC around here, 22 cents. So that's full disclosure, but I've put so you might think, hang on a minute, your fib's a bit weird because it's in the middle. It's like I think it's $3.80. The reason it's there is because I checked around. This is not really a reliable all-time high. I did check around on some exchanges and some places, and I found the all-time high was around 380, so I left it there. And to be honest, it actually fits the fibs well in this example, in TRAC. So I'm going by this, and it's looking good. So what do I see for TRAC in terms of where it is now? If somebody who wants to buy it, if I was going to buy this now, would I buy it? No, because right now I'm in a bit of no man's land. And this is actually the truth. What I when I bought it, I think it was June. Must have been around June here. About 24 cents. I think I bought it, right? I tweeted it out. The second time I tweeted out as well when we hit the 382. It was about 50 cents or something like that. 50, maybe 52, 53. See, now we're in this strong wave. Now, where would I buy TRAC? Maybe on this retest. That would have been a good time a few days ago when we did dip. If it gets to $1.09, another, this area, this retest here would be great. So we're not too, we're not too far off. You might say, yes, 150. You're waiting for $1. Who cares? I'll just go in. If you're prepared. So let's look at the price. If it can't, so we're here, right? So if you can stomach a 20%, let's just say 27% drawdown, it's possible it can happen. We are at resistance, by the way, because I showed you total 3 and we're quite at resistance. Nothing certain. Or it could hit the top and then come down and then carry on up. So there's a few ways you can play this. I would just be patient for the time being, because I do think the next major target for TRAC is this, $1.90 area, and then after it's above that, then you obviously got the $2.60, and once total 3 goes past the 786, then it's that 800 whatever million or billion it was, then it's too late to buy it anyway. So if you're hoping for a pullback, you had a few chances. You wouldn't, let's just say you wouldn't buy that, okay, because that's just, you're just unsure. I understand, but you had the pullback here, you had two chances to get into TRAC. Now hopefully you want another pullback in this zone here, at that $1, $1.09, $1.10, this area. My bull targets for TRAC, to be honest, I'm $14, $13 is that could be a reasonable target for TRAC. $13, $14. If it does go crazy, $30, we'll see. But the levels I have, the major levels I have are 6, 9 or 10, and then $14. So that's the kind of area I'm looking at for TRAC. So yeah, the other one I'll quickly show is FET, because obviously that's another one that's going kind of crazy as well. And to be honest, FET at where it is now, don't be silly, don't chase pumps, but let's look at what we can. If we missed it, well, you missed it, well, I didn't miss it, but but let's just say what can we, if we did miss it, for example, where can we go? So let's get a fib here from the all-time high, the last one, to the all-time low. Okay, just something simple, right? You see, now if you look at TRAC's about here in comparison. Didn't really get a pullback, but you got the pullback at the 786. Okay, so that wasn't too bad if you got in there. But now FET, you see, FET is gone. So the levels right now is very difficult to get in unless it pulls back. Now the target for this probably is about $4, right? $4. It could get to, that's the next big target for FET. If it pulls back to 2.8, or you've got 1.8, okay, that would be a big pullback. If it from here to, that's almost a 40% pullback, and down here it's like a 10%. Now the only way it's going to go down 40% is if Bitcoin corrects 20%, and that could happen in the near future if Bitcoin gets to like 75,000, and then that's correcting a wave 4. And I'll go through more of the Elliott wave counts in another video. But at the moment with FET, I wouldn't really chase this pump, because you gotta let this finish now. It could go on to $4 and then correct after that, because it looks like FET right now is in a wave 3. So this actually looks like a really strong wave 3. 1, 2, 3. You might have a 4 coming down, and then 5. You might even, it might be 4, 5, or it might get to there, correct, and then it might get to a 5. It might get to $8. I wouldn't be surprised, because the wave 3 is the strongest wave in a what can I say, in the wave counts. So with FET, I wouldn't bother chasing at the moment. Wait for a correction. All-time high targets for FET at the moment, what I'm thinking at this moment of time, because we're already here. FET's already one of the strongest coins, so I would say you're looking around at least, I would say 27, 19, 13. I would say in these three ranges you're looking at an all-time high for FET. But obviously I'll go through specific targets once the wave 3s for most of the coins are finished, and then you can analyze a wave 5 quite easily. Yeah, but that's about it for me from this video. I think I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a few things, and I'll go through more of the timings and cycles and things. There's much more to cycles. You can look at weekly, daily, quarterly, monthly, all these types of cycles. I'm going to go through also I'm going to go through January levels, so such important levels in future videos, how to identify whether the year will bring a good year, or will it be a bearish year. Something to go through as well. I'll probably go through that with another video. And also just send in your requests of what altcoins you want me to look at. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.